Howdy folks, how are you this morning? 70 degrees. It's about 9 o'clock and look at all that fog out there. So it's a perfect day to work on this. And what we'll probably do is get that door open. Yeah, I can just see the mist from the fog coming down right now. I know you probably can't because of the camera, but I can at least. Like I said, what we're going to do today is work on this. I'll probably take out, oh, that's cracked. That's lovely. I wonder if when that happened. Crack right there, crack right there. Don't think that was there before, but whatever. I'll probably end up taking this off, and they were nice enough to put a bunch of these screws in here with nuts on the top or whatever. So that'll be fun to take all 25 million of those off. Well, I'm going to pull the seat first, and then we're going to get in here and we're going to pull all this blue interior out because I want it out so I can start doing some other things, get all that stuff out at least, and probably take this ladder off too. Once I do that, I'm going to rip this out and install something else because I don't want this in there anymore. So we're going to do the best we can to make it look a little bit better presentable. But we'll talk about this truck real quick and where I got it from and how I got it and the stuff that happened when we got it, because boy was it a nightmare. Let me go take this vice grip in the garage real quick and I'll sit down on the stool like I usually do and we'll read the listing that from this truck when I first found it in 2019 towards the end of the summer. It was about August, I believe, and I picked it up around September 15-ish, something like that. So when I seen this truck for sale on the old FaceBase, Truck Paper Marketplace, you know, those groups they got and stuff like that, the reading said, truck is in good shape for its age. Yes, it's old and probably has seen more assholes and truck stop whores than any of us and has been driven and used like a washed up old hooker. LOL. However, it is a great truck, in good shape, has a 3406B cat, air-to-air, 9-speed over Rockwell transmission, DS402 Eaton rears with 433 gears. All new this year, have paperwork. New clutch, clutch brake, clutch fork, slave valve, resurfaced flywheel, new rear main seal on engine, all 8 airbags and brackets, new rear brakes on all drives with new slacks, and air chambers and supply lines, has brand new batteries and a starter. It's not a show truck, obviously. It's a work truck. So I painted it like a acoustic, we're not playing a guitar here. Come on, dude. Autistic child with a paintbrush, but looks great and cool. Asking none your business. So that's what that is. And contacted the dude, spoke with him a few times, you know, about the truck, told him I had the cash. Was going to buy another truck that was maybe an hour and 15 minutes away from the house. Seen it on old FaceBase in the marketplace. And I talked to this dude and he had it for sale for about a month and a half. So me and the wife went and looked at it because I was going to show her another truck that I had seen when I was delivering over at some place down the way. And, you know, I was in the works to buy a truck. Like on a Friday, I messaged the guy on Wednesday, I said, hey, I'll come over Saturday and get the truck. He's like, okay, man, cool. Because I had talked to him for about a month about it, you know. I went over and seen it, looked at the truck, liked the truck. It was the same, you know, short 90-inch, double bunk, blah, 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 sleeper and everything. And the guy had used it and it had a bunch of stuff done to it recently. So anyways, getting back to the situation, I'm like gonna go get this truck on Saturday. And then the dude gets a hold of me on Friday and says, sorry, man, I just sold it to one of my buddies. He was the first one to ask about it. But yet, this guy didn't want the truck and wasn't going to buy it until he knew that I was going to buy it. And the guy's like, sorry, I wish I would have rather sold it to you. And I'm like, well, why didn't you then? So, I'm talking to this dude about this truck and stuff like that. And he's sending me pictures and I'm asking him different questions like, does the wipers work? Because if not, I'd, order the parts and reinstall them. So this dude runs the wipers with bad blades on there and scratches the crap out of the glass, which you can probably see right here, that whole line. And, I asked the shop when it was over there if they could get me some replacement glass and just take that out. And they said, yeah, we'll check it out. And then they never end up doing it, so whatever. I'm fine with what's in there. I'll just deal with it. It's not a big deal. back to the story though. So we were going to get this truck, and he had told me that 2 of the drives had been stolen from his house when he had this in painting the frame and stuff, because oh boy had sprayed green on this frame. And I'm talking, he had sprayed green on this frame, the motor had splatter on it, it was everywhere. I mean, it was just everywhere, a complete hot mess. So anyways, he tells me that 2 of the drives are stolen. So I'm like, that's fine, because I say, you know, can it make it from your place in Delaware to my place in, you know, where I live in Ohio? He's like, mechanically yes, but I think the steer tires are bad, they're going to need replaced. So I'm like, okay. And since he had 2 wheels missing, he had bought 2, or he had a couple 24 talls Bud wheels that he was going to throw on there, because he was going to convert it all to that. And I said, no, don't worry about it, because they're 24 or 22s on here right now. And I'm like, I'll just get 2 brand new steers and some rims and bring them with us. So I had purchased these, so they were brand new. That's why I'm kind of irritated about the fact that they're all pitted up and stuff like that and scratched up from whoever changed them. But I did put some Neverdol on them yesterday just to kind of see if it cleaned some of the stuff up, and it did. But obviously you can see there's moisture sitting on that rim, so it's you know, you really can't tell. So I bought those wheels, had them delivered to the house, went over to the shop that I go to, had the tires installed, and I rented a car. Now, I rented a compact car. I think it was a Nissan. It was one of their smaller versions, but it was a 4-door. I ended up taking out the passenger seat to get one of the tires in the back, and I threw one in the trunk. So we had a rental car that was weighed down by those tires, and we drove over there. Got over there the morning. He had one of his buddies come over and throw those tires on and stuff. So I drove the truck down the road. And by that time, you know, the tires were on and stuff like that. I was getting the truck regardless. And it drove fine, you know what I mean? It was fine driving it down the road and stuff like that, besides the whole debacle, which I talked about with the old, you know, exhaust stuff that happened. But, I mean, it was just ridiculous. So after all of that happened, I bought the truck from the dude. Exhaust stack fell off when we were going and getting gas. We ended up fixing it to where I could get it to go. So we drove the truck to, I can't remember what the capital of Delaware is, but whatever that is, we ended up staying there. We ended up driving probably an hour, and it was getting too late, so we just stayed there. Woke up the next morning, and we were going to run 30 back, because that's what we wanted to do. I didn't want to run the interstate with the truck. You know, I had the permits and whatnot, but I just didn't want to pay the tolls, which was stupid. I should have just got on the toll road and hoofed it, but I didn't. And, you know, we are going through the mountains at one point in the truck, and the pedal stuck on me, and we're getting ready to go up around the S-curve, and I look over at the wife as she's sitting over there, and I look at her, and I just say, the pedal's stuck. And we're just like, and it's flooring it, and we're getting ready to go into this S-curve. Well, fortunately, you know, and I tried to hit it back with my heel, and I just couldn't get the pedal to pop back. So I reached down and I grabbed it real quick, and it, you know, slowed down, and we basically drifted around the corner. I was scared shitless at that point, and I just look over at her, and she just started laughing like a mad woman. And I thought to myself, oh my God, we're gonna die. And that's what she had thought the whole time. That's why she's kind of sketched out about this truck, because anytime she gets in there, those memories come back to her. So I gotta kind of be careful about her getting in there and stuff until she feels comfortable again. Once I get it going back down the road, we'll probably be okay, you know, because she knows that I'm gonna go through it again after this and make sure everything's good and copacetic to where she's comfortable getting back into it. That way, you know, if she ever wants to go ride with me, she can. But yeah, that was fun. And you know, that was an experience to where if I would have been doing this, that would have probably blown up. But that's not something I was doing at the time when I bought the truck. So, you know, it's what it is. But yeah, that whole experience was crazy. And that's some of that stuff I tried to put in the article for overdrive when it was in overdrive. And yes, if you can believe, this truck was in overdrive in December of 2020 with an article done on it. And yeah, it may be a piece of junk to some of you guys, and you know, you may not like the paint scheme and stuff like that, but for it to be featured in a magazine, I think that's pretty cool. So I must be doing something right, even though it's an old raggedy truck. So yeah, that's some of the story, and I'm sure there's more details to it that I may throw in there later when I, you know, get around to different things that bring back the old memory and stuff like that, because the guy was a bigger guy that I bought it from, and he said it was like a bear climbing up in and out of the truck, and he ended up falling out of the truck and hurting his shoulder from climbing up in there. That's when he decided to sell it. And he's like, yeah, man, this thing's good to go. Well, it wasn't good to go, because to be honest with you, when we end up getting it home and I finally started taking the interior apart, which I'm going to do today and get all this stuff out, there was probably 4 or 5 different mouse nests up in here. And there was one up under here, and this window had leaked to where this was rotted out some. And you can see this kind of how it is, got some water damage on there. But every time we'd hit a bump, stuff would fall out onto the wife's lap from in here, from a nest that was in there. So that was gross, you know, and just driving the truck back smelling like that was horrible. And then there was different nests up in this region and stuff like that that I had pulled out, and it was just grody. So I'm going to pull this out again, and because I don't need this blue interior. So if anybody's around and needs some blue interior, just let me know, and we can work something out to where I can get this to you, or you can come and get it, because like I said, I don't need it. I've got that black that's going to come in here. So that stuff can be something that you could use it. If you could use it, that's great. If not, it'll probably just sit up in my attic until I scrap it, or I'll list it some other places. So yeah, I'm gonna end up pulling the seat out here real quick. So you know, until I get back and start doing some of the, you know, interior stuff, pulling that out, you know what we say. And hopefully you guys all enjoy all this K100E Aerodyne stuff, because I know there's not a ton out there, but I know somebody else does have one and is doing some stuff. But you know, I'm actually going to work this one. So that's one of those things that we like to do when we buy old cab overs. Work them and make money with them. And that's, I think, the thing that the guys from the shop didn't understand, that we're doing it, that I actually work this truck. It's not just something that I want sitting around, or, you know, sitting at your shop wasting space and collecting dust. Well, it could be making money, because I'll take anything that's raggedy and make money with it, because, well, if nobody else wants to, I will. I don't need the best stuff. We all know that by the things that I buy and what I do with them. So yo, let's get this seat out real quick, and then we'll start pulling some interior so we can get our eyes on what this thing would look like without anything in there. So it'll probably be a long day, I can tell you that much right now. So hope you enjoy. Well, folks, we are standing in the truck now. Got the old seat out, as you can see. I had to run to town real quick, because these all these interior pieces and stuff like that, all these screws are a T20. So I went and I had to grab some bits here, and I don't know what kind of stuff you put your old screws in, because I like to save and reuse them, because, well, you know, you're taking it out, you're putting it back in. I use one of those jars to put the stuff in, and I've got actually one of those full in the garage from when I pulled that black interior, so I should have more than enough screws. But oddly enough, some of these are Phillips head here, and I just threw this up for now, because the first thing I'm going to do is take this doghouse cover on. That way when I'm standing up here, which, yes, I can stand up here just fine without having to crouch down too much. I don't want to tear this up. That way, if anybody else does want this, you know, I'll keep it as nice as possible. Like I said, it doesn't have any rips in it. Besides, right down here's a little hole. But other than that, it's pretty decent. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take this panel right here out. That way I can start getting to the stuff up there on the roof. Get those out, and take off these pieces right here, because they need to come out, which I did when I took everything out, because I got some wires and stuff that I'm going to pull out the CB, because I was talking to Don McCord, and he says that fan I have would mount right up here, and since that only has that one wire for the positive, the ground into the screw bolts, so they should be able to mount right up there. So that's probably something I'll try to do when I have this out, before I, you know, put anything back in. I'll probably just try to mount it up there real quick and see if that'll work, because I'm sure there's something up there I know that I can tap into real quick. The speaker wires, or the radio 12 volt, I know I can tap into that if I need to. I can run another wire to maybe one of the lights or something up there. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. It's hot in here, because it just jumped up to 80 some degrees within like the time the fog went off, and it's a couple hours later. So let's get these open, that way we can get a little bit of breeze up in here or something, because, well, we don't want to be dying. Oh, that one don't want it to come. There we go. Now we got it. So I'll say hello to Eddie. A little bit of Motorhead, another Eddie, some Van Halen, and I've got some other trashy stickers that I got that are gonna go all on this because, well, it's kind of my rat rod semi, and that's what I'm going to keep it like, because I don't, you know, until maybe someday down the road I can afford to, it makes enough money and it can pay for a decent paint job from some other place. This is just how it's going to be for now. So let me start taking some of this apart, and we'll get back with you. Well, folks, we got the doghouse cover off here, and this is nice. Nothing's cracked. Got the old KW in there, and got all the bolts and everything, screws out of this panel up here for the top. And if you've never done this before, you want to be extremely careful taking this off because it's super tight up here, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to get back in. But I've done this before twice, because I did it with the blue truck and with this one already when I cleaned the interior and everything when I was running wires. So you'll just want to slide it out pretty much off of here. These have 3 screws too that go right in the back here that you need to take out. That way you can get this out if you need to get these panels out here in a little bit. But yeah, you just want to slide this back. I'll set the camera down real quick and we'll try and do this. There should be good, I guess. I don't know. You want to be fragile, because if you break this, it's not likely you're going to be able to find another one of these or, you know, fix it that easy. So we got that off. That's good. And I do got a wire there that was a remote wire for the subwoofer that I'll just leave up there. So I'm going to set this out here real quick so it don't fall down. And I already took, when I took these panels off, there's different chunks that go up here. I just slid this back up in here. That way it's up in here. That's for the CB. So I should be able to just tack that fan right in there when I do it. And there's the 3, 1, 2, 3 that should go right in there. Finding the right screws to fit that may be a problem, but I might have some in here that I can use. Anything that I took off from that, I just stick over here and keep separate from the interior screws. And these are the 3 for this guy right here that I pulled from there. So I'm going to keep those over there. And when I took off the sun visors, I taped the bolts to it with some blue tape and everything. That way I don't have to worry about throwing those in with the other stuff and getting them mixed up. That's just what I do. It's save you. Yeah, like the horn and stuff I just threw back up in there. So I'll have to pull this wire out here and get this out of here, because I doubt I'm going to mount the CB back here where it's at. And these are all the speaker wires and for the CD player, which will go right in here. And I got this little switch for the subwoofer, but for some reason it didn't seem to work when I wired it up. Not sure why, because I've done it before with systems in cars and stuff. So that's that. But yeah, this here's that seal for the window. Looks like it should be okay. But yeah, I'll end up taking this off too here, probably in a little bit. I don't really want to have to take all this dash apart if I don't have to, but it looks like that's something I'm going to have to do. And that's why I also ran to the store, was to make sure that I had all the right bits that I would need for doing this. And some of these, you know, it's, since it's so old, and you heard the listing that was on there and what all's went down with this, it's got these different bolts just thrown in here and stuff and different things. You know, so that's the beginning of this, which we'll be doing this all day. So you'll get to see different bits and pieces of it probably. And when I get it all out, I already got most of the stuff laying over there in the drive, just spread out and stuff. That way it can, the one big panel in the back was kind of bent up from sitting over there. And, you know, I figured I'll throw it down there and at least smooth it out and just lay everything on top of it, get some weight on it. That way it can get back to where it needs to be. So I'll be back here in a little bit. I don't know when, but let me do some stuff here and we'll get back to you. So this is what we got going on so far. All the stuff in the front of the cab is basically taken out except for this, which I'm going to move on to next. And got this out. Had to get the old big chachi out. That is a 5/8 bolt right here that goes for the seat belt holder, but had a couple of these pop rivets that were broken off right here and like right there, and that's kind of what was slamming around. So I'm going to stick a couple of those in there real quick because I picked up this handy dandy riveter here, Pittsburgh riveter here, when I ran to the Harbor Freights to get these. That way I had some things and I could do this because I know I got some other spots that are, you know, raggedy around here that I need to do. Like down here, there's a bunch that are out right there, so I need to do those too. Try to keep that tight and not so much slamming around. So that's our progress for right now. I think it's, let's see, 1:05, and I started doing this, I think, at about 11:30-ish. So that's where we're at right now. Moving along pretty decent. Like I said, I just got that other stuff sitting out in the sun, flattening down. So yeah, I'm drinking some Arizona tea here. Can you believe that, folks? I ain't even started drinking beer yet because I knew it was going to be hotter than a stuck pig in here. So we are sweating. So I'm going to continue to do this, and once I get everything out, I'll bring you back so you can see what everything looks like without it. So until then, you know what we say. Well, folks, it's about 2:06 right now. Just looked at the old clock, and we're finally done. We got everything out, door panels and all. So we have got a stripped out interior, and oddly enough, these little guys right here that go over the old window jambs there, that's the only thing that holds some of those panels in. But yeah, we got her all done. So now I need to take the blue stuff and put it in the garage and stick it somewhere so I can, oh, I guess I got these here to pull off real quick, but that's not going to be a problem. That's only, this pops off because there's little clips back here that just clips to, and then I've got 1, 2, looks like a handful of screws to go. But that's what a door looks without that panel on. And I'm to be honest with you, I don't think this door panel had ever come off. And we got a situation going on with that over there I'll get to in a minute. But do you know where you can get these? Can you order these from like 4 states and stuff for that bottom thing? I'll have to check that out because the driver's side's missing one, and I'd like to have both on each if I can. But yeah, here's the jar of hardware we got here, assorted flavors of links, and even some of these drillers from that driver's side door because it was just so mangled up the way it was. And we'll get out there in a second to go check them out. You can see the difference of them. Let's get down there. Hopefully that T-cap wasn't in your view. Sorry if it was, whatever. But yeah, look at this. I mean, besides being dirty and stuff, besides me taking it off, I don't think that thing had ever probably come off. The carpet's nice still down there. This guy over here, the driver's side, you can tell it's been through some use. It's all ripped up and probably got wet at one point. And yeah, I had those big drillers in there because nothing would screw in there, and that's torn right there. But other than that, it's all out. This guy right here was that top piece I was talking about, and I still got to pull some things out of there because they just don't want to come off, like these little caps here. But other than that, it's all, those things come out like a bear. And that one panel that's back over there where the heater and stuff goes. And then I'll pull this out too. I'm not sure if I got this carpet from the other one. It may have been missing some of this stuff already, so I may just leave that. I don't know. But this is next. We're gonna get this out. I gotta get most of the tools picked up and stuff like that so I can do that, because those bolts that we're hanging it down, or those screws, whatever, they're rusty. And when I ran to the store, I got some of that lube and threw on there. Blaster, I got some blaster, and I threw it on the top and the bottom. And the reason why I went to the store is I had tried the other side, which, let's go over there because those are still dirty. I never cleaned them out, but I did clean out the inside of those star bits on that other side. But that was starting, or going to start, to strip that out, and this ain't even the right freaking bit. So let's walk back over there real quick, because, well, when the ones for the light are a little bit smaller. Sorry about that. I need both hands, and well, you're in one of them, so I need to use you. Those light ones are a little bit smaller, so I had to get the smaller bit. But when I was doing, you know, very first this morning, I was going to try to pull those out, and I cleaned to one side, and then the star bit I did have, it, you know, when I was just using my hand with a screwdriver, started to strip the side. So I thought, nope, I'm going to have to go and get something that is a little bit more heavy duty. That way I just don't tear these up. And if I do, that's why I got extra ones. That way I got them. And I don't want to use this either because it's got that hole in there. So I want to go over and see. I think there's one over here that's a T20H. And I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. Okay, that must be on the big set over there. T20H, that's a solid. Doesn't have the hole in the top, like right here. So we'll take these over, and we'll try to use that solid one real quick. In and out, in and out. How does he do it? I don't know. He just does. We'll try to use that solid one real quick and see if we can't peel one of those out. If not, I did get some drill bits, so I might have to use one of those. Get out of there. Okay, that is the right one, but there's so much crud and crap down here that I'm afraid that, and they're already starting to turn a little bit. We'll try one real quick. Let's hook you up right here so you can get your eyes on that while I try this real quick. Don't mind the mess there. It's what it is. I'll go with that one right there. That thing is just not turning, but it is twisting this. So we may have to use some other reinforcements on those and just drill them out, because, well, I don't want to tear these up if I don't have to. So yeah, I may have to just drill these out, pull them out, and then, you know, drill them down in or figure it out, get them from the bottom and twist around or something. So that's what we're gonna do soon. Not right now, because I'm gonna take a break. And I'm actually going to have a beer because, well, I deserve one. So until we come back and get this mess cleaned up, hope you enjoy this so far and you're learning some things about the interior of a K100E, a 1990 90-inch K100E. I wish it was the VIT, nice button tuck, but it's not. It's this stuff, and the black stuff is this stuff too, but it's fine. I'm fine with generic or not as good. So whatever. Till then, you know what we say. Howdy, folks. About 4:16 in the afternoon. Made the wife a deal at 6 o'clock. I'd shut her down and we'd do a little something. So here is the panels and all the stuff sitting on top of the big wagon. That's where it's going to be stored at for right now, because the black stuff is up there in the attic. And I'm going to be getting that down. I know you can't see anything because I got it wrapped up for safety reasons. Because I got a squirrel that visits up in there. But I took this off right here, these carpets. I ended up just cutting around the side here and peeling that out. That way I could just get it out. And here's this side. It's all swept out and whatnot. And I end up just cutting those off with the old cut-off tool and then smoothing those bolts down, because I'll replace that. I'll just probably shove it forward and drill down in there or something, you know. But this is going to need cleaned up and painted, because I plan on putting that old nice wood floor in with some, you know, clean that up. And then I'll take this off here so you guys can see what the heater and stuff looks like at, if you've never seen one in a K100, where that all is, and the heater and the AC. I think it's maybe the evaporator. I don't know, but whatever. Anywho, that's all taken off and done. So this side is at least clean for now. And this panel, you know, that panel is off. I showed you that. But let's go over to the driver's side, because if you get an older truck and you don't know what kind of situation it's been in. This was from Delaware, so this was an East Coast truck, so it's got a little bit of salt buildup in here. Look at all the dirt that's in here right there. I don't know if you can see that or not because of my shadow. Yeah, that's a bunch of dirt and stuff, and there's just a bunch of crud and whatnot up in here. Sorry for the views if they're bad, but yeah, I cut this side off too and smoothed this out, so it's all good. And then, you know, I'm just sweeping this up and taking a screwdriver here and just like digging the crap out. And I've got a brass brush here that I can, you know, clean it up with a little bit before I really get into it and sweep the rest out. But you can see all that buildup. Look at that buildup. That was under that floor and that padding. So that's kind of gross. And it looks like I got 2 screws right here and 1 up at the top. I might be able to just peel this whole panel off, which will be great. And I'll take that shifter knob off and stuff. And, you know, just be able to lift that off and get to those cables, hopefully. So let's keep our fingers crossed with that. But, yeah, that's what's going on now. We got her cleaned up and everything and getting her there. And I'll probably end up throwing some kind of paint down and then, you know, buying some insulation stuff. I got a buddy that has done the wood flooring to 2 trucks, so you know, he gave me the stuff that he uses, or at least sent me a picture of it, and I'll be able to do that, so that'll be fun. But yeah, we're just moving along, you know, one day at a time, one thing at a time, I guess. Still got to put a few pop rivets in a few spots and stuff like that, but I'm going to end up pulling that wood off too that's under the seats, that is under there. Why it's under there, I don't know. I'm going to popping that off, and I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about, because it's all raggedy and stuff. Let's get under here, because we can get under here. That's what I'm talking about, that wood right here. This stuff's all rotted out anyways. So I'm going to end up peeling this off and getting a new piece, even though it's super expensive, and putting some new stuff down. That way we can have it. And you know, just checking out this flooring, and I'll probably end up painting up under here. And you can see some of the crud and corrosion. That's from that salt from being over the East Coast and stuff. I'll probably clean all that out and you know, put some kind of silicone or something in there and paint that too while we got her down, because we don't plan on moving this thing until it's done. And I mean, it's done, because when I'm gonna, you know, get ready to run this truck, I'll do everything that I have to on the inside. That way I don't have to do this again anytime soon, and we'll be good to go. Now, mechanically and transmission wise, I may run the truck just to run it and build some money if I don't end up getting a transmission swapped out before I start running it, because I used it before and it was fine. I ran it for 6 months, and you know, it made me a ton of money. And I'm not mad about anything that happened, you know, with the old accident. It's just one of those things that happens, people not paying attention and stuff. But I know that truck can make money, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with it, because that's my workhorse. I bought that to be a workhorse and to be able to run that thing during the winter, have the air ride suspension. Speaking of that, Link cab air ride that I had ordered, called FedEx this morning, bitched at them because they still don't have a clue of where it's at or anything like that. But if it was scanning Perrysburg, it's got to be over there. So I called Link, because they're like, you got to call them and put in a lost order, blah, blah, blah. So I called the gal at Link. She was super friendly. Or Link is what the actual product is that they call it, Link Cab Air Ride or something like that. But it's Stengel Brothers is who I got it from. And I got a call back from a PA number, so they must be over in Pennsylvania, because it didn't take them long to ship it, and it didn't take long to get over to where Perrysburg was. If for some reason they're just piddling around over there. And she said that she's going to have to eat that one, and she's going to send me one back through UPS. And I said, good, because, you know, and I told her, I said, if I got to pay for any extra shipping, I will, because it's a joke that I haven't got that part yet. And she says that, well, sometimes when parts are too heavy, because it weighs 99 pounds is what it says, they just don't want to lift it up and put it on the conveyor belt to get loaded on a truck. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, if it's there, I'll go get it. I don't have a problem with it. I've got a 2-wheel dolly I could throw in the back of the wagon or whatever, and just slide her in the back or whatever I got to do. But yeah, that's what she told me. So she's going to send me out a new one. And I told her that for some reason, if I end up getting that other one, God forbid I get that other one, I told her I would call her up, let her know, and pay for that one too, because, well, I've got a K100 that can slap that on too, since that one's a Rough Rider. Ho, yo, since that's the hardtail with the spring ride. That would be nice to have a cab ride on that, but just not something I've ever done, because, well, I don't mind it. It's a smooth ride. It's just a little bumpy, so it's one of those things that if I do get the second one, I'll be plopping it on there and I'll pay for it, because it doesn't bother me. And I told her that as soon as I know, I'm gonna call you up and let you know, and I'll pay for it. So, because that those things are not cheap, and that's $1,200 sitting somewhere, folks, and that's not cool, especially for them to be doing that kind of stuff with something that expensive. And I thought, well, maybe someone did put it on the back of a truck, figured out what it was, and just took it home because, well, that's one of those things that, you know, you can make some money off of. So the first thing I did after I got off the phone was I looked on Facebook to see if there was any for sale, but I didn't find any, so who knows where that thing is. It's just lost. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's what we're going to do with that. Probably going to be wrapping today up pretty soon, but, you know, I'll come back with you tomorrow morning and, you know, I'll pick back up where I started because I gotta get some parts ordered. Planned on changing that steering wheel out too, so that'll be cool once I figure out what I want to put in it, because I measured that the other day and I wanted to wait till I got it home to measure it. And that's a 20-inch steering wheel, just like the white truck, or the blue truck's white steering wheel, that old school. And I'm not going to put one of those old bone ones back in there. I'm going to do something different. Just waiting to see, because there's a couple 18-inch ones that I've found that I think would be cool in there. But just haven't completely decided on it yet, and you know, that'll be fun. So I'm just going to clean that up the rest of the way, close everything up, and probably shut her down. So till tomorrow morning we come back, or unless I take you on an adventure later on, you know what we say. Thanks for watching, and we will see you. Well, I lied to you, folks. Said I was going to be done for the day, but I'm still out here sweating away and grinding. Because I decided that while I was doing this, I was going to take this off. And I did get that off. Here's that old wire that was hanging down. No clue what that was, but get your eyes on that grime in there. That is freaking nasty. And I'm checking out these cables here because I wanted to. And it looks like they're moving over okay. So they should be okay. This thing should be all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just straighten this guy up here. And tighten that bolt, get that thing straightened out, loosen that bolt. Oh, I don't know if I can because that thing just keeps on twisting, but oh, you still some grease in there and stuff, and down and up in there, because I should be able to take this off right here and get all that off if I want to, but I probably get some grease back in there, no big deal. But yeah, that thing looks, you know, it feels like it's moving over a little bit easier than what it was the other day when I took you for that ride that was horrendous, and you went all over the place. Yeah, the thing's just moving all over like it's nobody's business now. Isn't that something? You take something apart and don't even do nothing to it. But we'll still get some lithium grease up in there, but I just figured I'd get your eyes on this. What we got down here, folks? We got old cigarette butts, fuses, a bunch of different screws, somebody's necklace, or what's that, rosary? I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna peel this off because there's a bunch of permagum around the seal that's kind of ate up, and sweep all that crap up and get some holes in there and figure it out and seal those up, because we don't want that wind. Look at that crap. That's just ridiculous. So, oh, there's an old wooden, looks like they were trying to build something like a desk, and I don't know how that even ends up in here, but whatever. So yeah, that's gonna get all cleaned up. Take this off right here because we don't need it, but clean that up and stick it back on and throw some grease in there at least, so we should be good. But yeah, I figured I'd just get your eyes on that hot mess that I just stumbled upon, and hopefully that's about the last one besides the old side box over there where that old heater's at. That thing's a big old mess too, but it's what it is. It's an old truck. What do you expect, right? Clean that up one of these days. I don't know when I get to it, so good times.